Okay, let's get started. I know everyone has a busy day, and I don't know if you're going to watch basketball or finish filling out your bracket or whatever, but and I hope your team wins. My name is Lisa Long. I'm the customer service and account manager at Iowa Land Records. If you have used eSubmission for a long time, you may have talked to me or received an email from me if you called in or asked for help at any time. The Iowa Land Records team is a small but mighty team. We're based in Johnston. Our project manager, Phil Dunshee, has been with the project since the inception. And if he can't fix it, then we're in probably some big trouble. We have three full-time developers. They all live in the Des Moines area and all work remotely. We see them on a fairly regular basis, at least through a Teams meeting. And then we have a full-time accounting person. Her name is Samantha McMahon, a full-time policy coordinator, Census Lo Leong, and two more part-time people on our team, Corey Strasser, who is our customer service coordinator. So she backs me up when there's problems and we need to help you all fix things or submit a document or anything having to do with the Iowa Land Records search or submit site. And then Kristen Delaney Cole, who is our communications and marketing coordinator. I had to think about what her staff is. So most of the there's a few people from our team backing me up today. They'll help with answers to questions and make sure everything's working really, really well. So I'm going to go back to the home screen. We're going to go through eSubmission, how it works, and we can answer any questions that you have and even maybe work a little bit on some search questions if you have those.
And Lisa, before you get started here, can you try sharing your screen again? Or just seeing your name right now? And while Lisa pulls this up, this is Kristen, the communications person she was just talking about. There we go. We can see it. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and drop them in the chat and we'll relay them to Lisa. Thanks, Lisa.
Okay. Okay, so if you're an eSubmission customer, when you log in, it's going to look like this. So you've got home. We'll go through all of these, but home, change password, eSearch. So if you're looking for a document that you submitted for recording, you're going to be able to look under eSearch. After I submit some documents, I'll go back and show you how that works. And then you've got ILR search. So eSearch, I'm going to go back to that real quick. That will allow you to find any documents that your organization submitted, okay? And about every 4 months, so a few times a year, we go in and archive the images in there. So it's a really good idea to get those recorded documents when you receive that notification that document's been recorded, because those images become archived and you're not going to be able to find them in eSearch. But all counties upload, transfer all of their recorded documents to Iowa Land Records within 72 hours of recording, and then you'd be able to find them under ILR search. So you're always going to be able to find them, but just be cognizant that we do go in and archive those records in eSearch occasionally, and it's merely a space consideration. There's multiple roles in Iowa Land Records and eSubmission, and one of them is administrator, and so that comes with some extra responsibilities and information that you have access to, then our support tab and signing out. So let's just work through all of these. Home always gets you back here with the information on today's date, how to contact our office if you need help. You can email us, call us, or complete a support request. If we are at our desks and not helping another Iowa Land Records user, we're going to grab the phone. So if we don't answer right away, send us a message. You can find additional resources by going here, and it will actually take you up here to resources. So I'm not going to click on that. And then how you can register for an upcoming webinar. If you wanted to change your password, you're going to click right here. It's got all the information about you, your name, your address, your email address, your phone number, and then if you wanted to update your password. I'm not going to update my password today, but if you wanted to do that, remember it's a minimum of 14 characters, uppercase and lowercase letters, number, and then the special characters that are specified there. You can't use anything that's invalid. can't use anything that you have used previously. Things that I find that work well are a city, a state, and a zip code, and a special character, a day of a week, a zip code, and special characters. If you ever need help with a password, we're happy to help you. Also on this screen, so if you're a current user and you're logged in right now, you might go to change password and not update your password, but click right here, or make sure that this e-submission attribute is clicked that says by default use party name information for the first document for all subsequent documents in a group. You'll see that in action as I go through the submission process today, but it saves you time because you don't need to always enter the party name again. You can always edit it, but you don't need to enter it again. This is something that was came out of one of our focus groups. So I'm going to go back to our homepage by getting to submitter. So anyway, if you click on that, it will help you. I think it'll save you time. eSearch, we'll come back to that. ILR search, we'll come back to that at the end, and we can actually go into the production site and look at some of those. If you're an administrator on the account, so backing up a little bit, there are different roles in Iowa Land Records. The first is search. So you're only able to search for records. That can be either a business or an individual user. So it could be an individual user under a business account that would allow you unlimited index searches and views every single day, and up to 120 image views per day if you're a business user. And then there's the searcher, and that also has submission. So they can submit documents for reporting. They can act on documents in a group that they have created. The next role would be the administrator. They have access to all kinds of stuff, like the information on the account, and they can edit those things. So this will pop up. And I can edit. So I've got the name of the organization, how they're submitting through the interface. Okay. This account number is our internal account number for this submitter, that their bank, what their address is, and how to contact somebody at that office. Okay, so some of the information can be edited, like the address. If your office moves, you can update that. You can update a phone number or a main contact. You won't be able to update the name of your organization. You would have to ask us if you needed to do that and provide us some type of documentation that your, as an example, your office name changed from Jones and Smith to Smith, Jones, and Howard, something like that. We would want some documentation if that happened in your office. You won't be able to update any of this information. So we're going to select save on that and go to the next one, which is update account, which is actually a lot like changing your password. And again, I would make sure that you've got this e-submission attribute selected. And going back to submitter and back to admin. This is the payment information. Prior to submitting documents for reporting, you will need to enter payment information in the Iowa Land Records website. So you'll be able to create the groups, but you won't be able to submit them for reporting. So again, some of the same information. The test, the name of it, the account number, which is again is our internal account number. And then we've got some additional information. First and last name, an email, billing information, those kind of things. And then as you scroll down here, you'll see that this information is blank. So they did enter bank or credit card information, and it was saved, but it's saved in the background. So it never displays. So if you were to come in here and update this because you changed banks or bank accounts, and when you're not going to see anything, and once you select save, it will not display again. It's always saved in the background. It is a security issue to keep that safe. Couple more things here. Users, you may have as many users on your account as you would like, and you may have as many of them in each role as you would like. So if you want everyone to be an admin and have search abilities, that's entirely up to you. If you only want somebody to be able to search, you can do that too. And so we're just going to go here and add So that's their username. I'm going to take the space out of there. And then I'm going to choose a role for them. So I'm going to say this is a submitter user. I have to enable search, enter a name, enter an email address, all my information. Here's the e-submission attribute you would click on for a new user, and then you're going to enter a temporary password here for them and confirm that. And then you're going to meet all those criteria for the password. The other thing you're going to do is you're going to provide the user with this username and password because it doesn't come to them in an email. So set them up. Their status will be pending. Let me show you what that looks like. I can search for that person. So there's the one I just set up under webinar, and my status is pending, meaning I need to log in and update my password. Need to do that within 24 hours of it being set up. So you as the administrator have control over this, and what you would need to do is go in and just either email them or hand them a piece of paper that said, this is your username and this is your password. Please log in and update your password. So let me go back to users. You can see you've got a lot of people out here. So we have lots of people that are active. If you're an admin, you can update someone's password. So we could do that right here. And so it could look something like that. That meets all of the qualifications. If you wanted to update their password, again, all you're going to do is say, hey, I gave you a temporary password so that you can get in. If you remove someone from your account, easy to do that. Find someone on here I can get rid of. I will get rid of this guy right here. So all I would do is click here and it makes sure that you want to do that. If you select cancel, that user would disappear from your user list. Or if you select delete, I'm sorry, not cancel. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that so we keep them in there. And then we don't have anybody on here that's inactive, but if you saw somebody had been deactivated as the administrator, you'd be able to reactivate their account. Always, if somebody on your team is having problems getting logged in, if you give us a call, we'll be happy to help. Just be patient with us. We help everyone as quickly as we can. Under support, we've got back to admin. One more thing, reports. So if you're trying to reconcile the account, you can create a settlement report so that you can see, what charges have been on your account this month. And I'm not sure if we have anything in March. Oh, we do. Okay. So we've recorded 77 documents in Ringgold County. It looks like a bunch of them. We've been doing some testing there. It's got the group name, the submission number, when it was recorded, and scroll across here a little bit. You can see all kinds of really good information, like who submitted it, what the recording information, what the total charges are. So it's a really good report. You can export it to Excel and use it for reconciliation. So we like that report a lot. And I really like that it tells you as you go across here who submitted it. So you can go back to them and ask them the questions that you need to hear. So good report. We like that you use it. I did skip one user type, and that is the accounting person. So we've got people who can submit documents. We've got people that can search for documents. As an admin, you have access to all of the information and all of the groups that were submitted, so that you can go in and correct anything if someone is out. And again, you can have as many users on your account as required, and you can have as many in each role as you want. And the role I forgot is the accounting role. So that's somebody that can generate this settlement report for their reconciliation purposes. And they'd also be able to update payment information, but they should not be able to submit documents for recording. So that's out there. So onto the support tab here real quick. We've got resources. This takes you to our production site where you talk about e-submission training. And then you can just kind of scroll down and find the information that you need. You've also got customer support if you wanted to contact our office for any reason. Here's our address, our email address, and how to create a ticket so that we can help you. And then finally, if you wanted to calculate transfer tax, that is here for you as well. And finally, sign off. So back to home. Let's get into the submission process. I love e-submission. I think it's fast. I think it's secure. And I think it's a really good way to get documents reported. In 2024, 67% of all documents were recorded electronically in Iowa. So that's a lot of documents. And unfortunately, I can't tell you the quantity, but I know it's 67% of all documents. So when you're going to submit a document or group of documents to be recorded, you're going to select new submission. You're going to select the county that you are submitting to. And then you're going to assign a group name. This can be anything that you like within your organization that will help you find this document again. It might be an address. You see those regularly. It might be a client's name. It might be a file number. It could be anything that you want it to be. The thing you need to remember is it needs to be unique. So if you used client name Lisa Long as an example, you'd never be able to use that name again. However, if you take out the space, now it's into new group name. So keep that in mind. Always needs to be unique. Determine a naming convention that works well for your organization so you can properly assign the charges to the correct account for reconciliation. So I'm going to change this group name to webinar and 0318 and A. Okay. So a group is one or more documents being submitted to the same county. They do not need to be related. So as an example, a couple different examples. One, you could have a mortgage for one person. You could have a deed, a declaration of value, and a mortgage for one person. You could also submit 6 releases that are for different people. So one for everybody on the Iowa Land Records team, but they're not related because none of us are related, but they're all going to the same county. So they all need to go to the same county, but they don't all need to be related, okay? If you ever have questions, call our office. I'm going to create the group here real quick. And now it's going to ask me to select a document. So I'm going to choose a document type. In the comments, does anybody have a specific document type they want to see submitted? We'll go through several examples, but I don't want to miss anything that you have special interest in. Okay, so let's do something simple. Affidavit of non-transfer. And then I'm going to browse for the image. Documents should be scanned in black and white. Portrait orientation, we say 300 DPI. So black and white portrait orientation, 300 DPI. Select the document type. An affidavit of non-transfer is a statement of fact. It does not convey any property. It says, my name is Lisa. I live in this townhome association. My dues are current and it's okay to sell my house. It could also be a trustee's affidavit saying that as the trustee of this trust, I am authorized to do whatever this goes with. Okay. So I'm going to select save and it's going to ask me to enter a party name. And I think today for easy, I'll use my own name. Okay. And then it tells me all the things that I need to do. You only have to enter one party. The county will index all the parties on the document, but you only have to enter one. I can see what the fees are. So $7, this was a 1-page document, and a $3 Iowa Land Records e-submission fee. That fee is assigned to all documents, charged on all documents, except for the declaration of value and the groundwater hazard. There's no recording fees for those. there's also no e-submission fee. So $7. And up here, you can see what your total fees are for the group, okay? So let's add another document. You can do that here, or up here at the top, you can do add document. I'm going to add my other one. The people on our team know I talk about these. This is an affidavit of transfer. So it's conveying property from one or more parties to one or more parties, often seen in an affidavit of surviving spouse. The number of auditor transfer fees will default to 1, so that it's a $5 fee. You'll see all that update here as soon as I click on save. But it is 1. The maximum you can be charged is $50. So no matter what number you put here, you're only going to be charged $50. And that's something that's set by law. So any conveyance document, the number of auditor transfer fees does default to 1. Browse for the image. Select save. I don't have to enter the parties because I've got that attribute checked. Again, a 1-page document. Here's the $5 auditor fee and the total is 15. Group total up here is 25. So you can always check and make sure. I can tell you about a situation that came up yesterday where the value of the property, and I can show you how that works, was entered incorrectly. So the fees didn't calculate correctly. And it ended up that the submitter would actually going to owe the county some money because the transfer tax was off by several $1,000s. So it's a good idea to do a check here to make sure everything looks good. So if everything's ready, so you've got an affidavit of transfer, an affidavit of non-transfer, you can click on the submission number. It's going to tell you that it's an affidavit of non-transfer. You can look at the image that was attached to the group. You can edit this if you want to. So if you wanted to change it to affidavit of transfer, you can do that and then save it. The fees will update over here. And you can see that now the group fees have updated. You could change the county if you wanted to. So it isn't actually Adair, but maybe you wanted to submit to Ringgold instead. You can certainly make that change here and see the blue bar as it updated. If everything's good, submit group is always the last step. Okay, keep that in mind. Submit group is always the last step. Caution. If you ever submit something incorrectly, so you submitted it to the wrong county, after you submitted it, you realized there was an error in the document, you grabbed the wrong document when you were attaching documents, please don't call our office, call the county. Grab your phone, call the county. In a larger county, maybe Polk, Lynn, Scott, you're going to ask who is submitting, who's taking care of e-submissions today, okay? And say, I need this group declined. Okay, our office cannot do that for you. Once you submit it, those docs belong to the county. So if you ever make a mistake, call the county, please. Okay, and you can always find their number by Googling. That's one way. It's also under resources for the county directory. Okay, so last step, submit group.
Excuse me, we have a question in the chat. What is an example of using the field number of additional transactions?
Oh, I will get to that. Thank you. Okay, next, so that group was submitted successfully. The only thing that you saw was that green bar that said it was submitted successfully. We can find it right here by going to eSearch. So if you ever have a doubt, like, did I submit that? I'm going to search by county, Adair. Wait, I submitted that to Ringgold, didn't I? Okay, Ringgold, and submission date. And it does require a beginning and ending date. And then search. And there's that group that I just submitted. It's in ready for recorder status. So the county received an email notifying them it's out there for their review. And they have 24 hours or 1 full business day to review those. I'm going to tell you most counties are much quicker, and you would see a turnaround within a couple hours. So also remember, you're never charged until a document is recorded, okay? So back to home, and I'll create another group, another submission. My mouse needs to catch up here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Adair, save, and additional transactions. In general, I would tell you to not use the number of additional transaction fields. It is not the number of additional documents in a group, okay? What it is when there's more than one transaction on a document. I have a couple examples that I like to use. One, you work for a bank, the bank bought another bank. And so all of the mortgages from Bank A are being assigned to you, Bank B. So you could put those all on one document. Each document assumes one transaction. So let's say you listed 3 more, then the number of additional transactions here would be 3. So you've got a total of 4 transactions, okay? I'm going to find an image real quick. Remember, this is testing, so it doesn't matter what the image is. And select save. So you can see the fees. Okay, so this was a 5-page document, $27, right? And then additional transaction fee of 21 because you added 3 transactions here. Okay, so each transaction, document assumes 1. So that's included within the 27, 3 additional transactions for $21. Okay, another example. This is maybe my favorite because I wish it would happen to me. Satisfaction of mortgage. If you work, again, if you work for a bank, you have a client, a customer that has a first and a second mortgage on their house, or maybe they own multiple properties and they're doing a big modification consolidation. So you're paying off all of the mortgages. I prefer it would be that we all win the lottery and we're going to go pay off any first and second mortgage that we have. Okay. I would say in this case, they probably do need to be related. So it couldn't be my mortgage and Corey's mortgage on the same document, but they should probably be related. And then you would put that here. So you've got a first and a second mortgage, you win the lottery, you walk into the bank with your $900,000 check and say, hey, I want to deposit this and I want to pay off those 2 mortgages on our house. Okay. So the bank is preparing those documents. And instead of submitting 2 releases, one for the first mortgage on your house, one for the second mortgage on your house, they combine them into one document. It says for Jane Jones, we're going to release first mortgage, book 1, page 2, and second mortgage, book 2, page 300. Then there's an additional transaction. But in general, I would tell you to ignore this, okay? If you ever have a question, call the county because they're really good at it. Sometimes I don't think we have as great of a grasp of it as they do. We also often see these with an assignment of wind leases. So if you ever see any of those, okay? But again, we're happy to help. The counties are happy to help. I'm going to select save. And you're going to see the fees calculate over here. Oh, that was a really big document. And then we've got that one additional transaction. And you can see the total group fees up here of $148. And last step is always submit group. Okay. Kristen, could you read me questions?
Yes. Do you mean from the registration page? We don't have any in the chat right now.
Okay.
But we did get a registration question asking where they could retrieve documents once they've been filed. I think they may be referencing eSearch.
Okay. So let's do some new submissions and then we'll walk through that. So I'm going to do one more. I'm going to submit a deed package. Okay. So you can see how that works. So again, a group name so I can find it later. I'm going to select warranty deed as the document type. It's a conveyance document, so it defaults to 1 for the number of auditor transfers. I'm going to submit I'm going to enter the real estate value. This should match what's on the declaration of value. And this is actually where there was an error yesterday. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay. And browse for the document and save. So it calculated the transfer tax over here of $4 on the real estate value of $2,510. Everybody with me? And if they had carefully reviewed the total charges here, they would have seen that this is incorrect because the actual real estate value was $251,000. And so they owed them the additional $396. So we worked through that to get it corrected. There's a certain amount of ways we can do that to get that corrected. And it all depends on what works best for the county. But so that's my encouragement to have you look for the total group fees here to make sure it's correct. Okay. This now is giving me a warning because this is a conveyance document that it requires a declaration of value and a groundwater hazard statement. Okay. So a couple things. First, let's do the declaration of value because you're probably going to need one of those. And browse for the image. Remember, you're scanning in black and white, portrait orientation, 300 DPI. The only document that can be submitted in landscape orientation is a survey. So that's submitted. Notice there's no fees over here on the declaration of value. So this didn't change up here. And it's still saying it needs a groundwater. I'm going to say, raise your hands if you are familiar with the Iowa law that says if there's no positive conditions on a groundwater, you don't have to submit it for recording. You don't have to mail it in. You don't have to take it over. You don't have to get somebody to take it for you. Is everybody familiar with that one? Okay, so e-submission does not read the document. It doesn't read that big exemption that you put on the image itself, okay? So you have to tell the system that it's exempt, and this is how you do it. You click on the submission number. You could have done this during the submission process when you created this document. You're going to select edit, and you're going to select the exemption right here, and then save. And then that requirement goes away, okay? All make sense there? Okay, one more document. The power of attorney. I'm going to add that and browse for the image. And save. Remember, I've got the attribute checked, so I don't need to enter any name. But on this one, I'm going to edit this to Dana because she's on the document. Okay. And then I'm going to go up here. I'm going to look at everything and I'm going to say, okay, I've got the deed. I've got the declaration of value. I've got the power of attorney. I really need that power of attorney recorded first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to left click on this. I'm going to drag it right up here to the top to where I want it to be. Okay. So now everything's in the right order. And the county should record documents in that order. If there's anything that is ever very specific, call the county, tell them, hey, I just submitted this. That power of attorney has to be recorded first. If you are submitting, as an example, you've got this deed package right here, and there's also a mortgage for this party, I would encourage you to do one of two things. Add it to this group so everything's recorded in the right order, or don't submit it until after this group is recorded because you want everything recorded in the correct order. You could submit this one, have it get declined, submit the mortgage in a separate group. It gets recorded and now you've got them out of order. So think about those things. Call our office if you have a question. We can walk you through anything. If you ever need to delete a group and just kind of start over, you can do that, but we're happy to walk you through it. I'm going to take a look at comments real quick. All right, we can keep going. Okay. So I am going to submit this group 4 recording so that it can go on. And it's right there. And then I want to work through some documents that were submitted and returned to you as the submitter. Okay, so documents are submitted, the recorder reviews them, and one of like 3 things will happen. It's recorded and you receive the notification of that. And then you use eSearch to find them. And I'll show you how to do that right now. You would go to eSearch. And you can certainly use any of these criteria like I used before, like search when we searched by ADARE to determine what had been submitted. You can also go to recently recorded and then search. This blue bar tells you it's in process. And then you can find all those documents that you were looking for. It displays the most recent 500 documents and you can search for them. So there's the most recent in ADARE. There's all of the anything that had a deed in it. Let's look for a mortgage. Okay. Don't know. It does not allow you to search by user. But I think it's got some really good options for you to be able to search there. And then once you find the document that you're interested, you'll click on the submission number and then review the document. And you'll see the stamp. So remember, this is a practice document. So we've been playing. And then you can download that to your local system. So you've got that, or you'd also be able to print it if you wanted to. The print icon is small. It's up here in the left corner. So don't overlook that if you're trying to determine how to print that. But whatever works best for you is the way to do that. So recently recorded is an easy way to find those recorded documents. Back to home.
A question, and then this eSearch is for everyone in your organization, or is it documents submitted just by you?
Submitted by your organization, as long as it's under the same account. So as an example, many banks have multiple accounts based on location. So it would be anything for I'm making things up. The Best Bank of Iowa Grimes location, if you're under that account, you're going to be able to find it. And then if there's also the Best Bank of Iowa Johnston account, if you work in Grimes, you're not going to be able to find it in eSearch. After it's recorded and it's been transferred to Iowa Land Records, then you'll be able to find it under ILR search. Clear as mud? Makes sense? Okay. Let's work through these documents that have been declined. So best case scenario, you submit something, everything gets approved, everything gets recorded, okay? Next, you submit something, the recorder finds an error and kicks it back to you. You'll receive an email telling you that it was declined and what was wrong with it, okay? And contact information for the county if you need to call them or talk to them. It's got the user in there, so you can take a look at that. Okay, so it's going to show back up here in your pending groups list. We sometimes say this is your to-do list because anything that's in this list needs your help, okay? You're going to click on webinar decline. That's the group that was declined. And you're going to see 2 documents were declined and this one was approved. Documents that are submitted in a group stay together. So even though this assignment of the deed of trust is approved, it's not recorded. Okay, it's only approved. And you can fix these other documents and resubmit it so they all get recorded. So you're going to click on the submission number of this document that is declined and scroll down here to history. And it says that the notary is missing on page 2. Okay. What do? Fix the error, rescan the document, click edit, click here to browse, replace document image. Find the new document, select open it, save it. Fees will update if anything changes over here. And now this one is in resubmission. If you go up here to the pending groups, you can't submit because you've still got this document in decline status. So repeat the process. Click on the submission number, scroll down to determine what is wrong. The legal is missing. So add the legal. Maybe you need to add another page. You need to write it in. whatever you need to do. Maybe you misscanned the document. Those things happen. Again, you're going to edit and browse through the file. And you're going to save that. And now it's in resubmission. So you've got 2 in resubmission, 1 in recorder approved. Nothing has been recorded. You haven't been charged. The last step is still submit group. Okay. So again, that one goes back to the recorder for them to review. So they would again get an email notification. Hey, this group out there from the Best Bank of Iowa is out there. Okay. So one more of decline, then we'll talk about fee changes. We'll answer any questions that you have. I have all day if you need help. Okay, webinar decline. So here, this is kind of the opposite situation. 2 of them were approved, but not recorded, so there's no charges yet. And 1 of them was declined. So you're only going to click on the submission of the one that was declined and scroll down, and it says, oh, the groundwater is not required because it's got that exemption on the document, right? So what are you going to do? You are going to delete by clicking on the trash can this document, okay? Now it tells you that you need a groundwater hazard, but remember you're going to select the exemption. So you're going to click on the submission number of the conveyance document, edit this, select the exemption, and browse. While I'm in here, I want to talk about one more quick situation. If you work with real estate and you would have recorded a contract, and usually at the time of a contract is recorded, you would have also submitted the declaration of value and a groundwater if it was required, right? So if that's the case, now you're submitting the deed and fulfillment of the contract. We still don't need the groundwater. This is still a conveyance document. So the system is still looking for both of those, the DOV and the groundwater. And so that's when you would select both exemptions. And then you've got the real estate value that you're going to pay the tax on. Okay. And so everything's good there. I think I just need to select save. It's in resubmission. And last step is right up here is submit group.
We're getting a few questions in the chat, but before I move on to that, we did have a couple of questions related to surveyors. Just asking about what the proper orientation of maps or drawing would be, and any other basic document requirements when submitting.
Okay. To Varley Law, we'll come back to legislative. I had a submission yesterday for which the initial fee was reduced. I was asked to log in and approve the fee change. Perhaps another project for your excellent developers. We have something in mind for that, but we're not there yet. And does the additional transactions apply to quick claims? Yes, it does. Okay, so let's talk about fee changes real quick. So you submit a document for recording and it comes back with a fee change. Same thing, you're going to get an email telling you that it was there was a fee change. Nothing's been recorded. They're only doing a fee change. Come into your to-do list, pending groups, select the fee change, and you look at all of them. And so you can, it's got this warning up here, the fee has changed to complete the recording process. Get a couple options here. One, you do receive that email that says, hey, for this submission number, Jones quitclaim, the fees went from 15 to 25. You can click that. That's a bad example because it wouldn't increase by 10. So you've got that information. So you can click the submission number and you can see that they went from 10 to 15. So that means we know they added an auditor transfer fee because that's what the $5 is. Okay. So if you want to look at all of them, you can. If you don't want to look at all of them, all you're going to do is click the fee change box right there. It goes to resubmission and then you repeat. And if you don't want to look at that history, no worry, click fee change and then go right up here to submit group. Okay. What we have in mind when we have 1,000 resources and 6 more developers is that each account would be able to set a limit. So if the fees went up by less than $25, you would automatically accept them. And you would be able to accept those at the organization level, I believe. So that's one of the things on our long list of enhancements or improvements that we would like to make. So one more on fee change. I wonder if you can do that with a, I don't think the way our technology works currently, I don't think you can do that with the email, but that's a great idea. Okay, back to fee change. Again, you submitted it, the county reviewed it, sent it back to you. There's a fee change. It's here in your to-do list. And there's two more, and I'm going to accept one of them. And then I decided I need to do some more work on this. So I took a look at this. It went up by $5, but I want to take a look at that, but I really want to get that other document recorded. So I'm going to delete that one. And then I can submit the group. But remember, there's other things I can do here. I can still add a document if I wanted to. Remember, has to go to the same county, but doesn't have to be related. So I've got another document ready to go to Adair County. I can do that. I can still change the county if I want to. So all of those things, and then it's ready to submit. Okay, what else do you, okay, so you didn't see the fee change checkboxes. That's good that you've got that information now. Does the additional transaction thing apply to quitclaim deeds? Yes. Okay, so we got that one. Status of legislative proposals to change the fees. I know that Kristen put some information here. I have not heard anything related to it going to flat fees as it is in some other states. So if you're not familiar with recording fees in other states, some of them have a flat fee. So a one-page document might be $35, okay? And that goes for all documents. Or if it's up to this many pages, it's 35, and then after that, it goes to 135 or whatever. I'm making those things up, but that is certainly something that is out there. The legislation that was introduced said it would increase recording fees to $10 per page. There's a lot of information out there where you can go and look at it. But it's important, I think, to know that recording fees haven't changed since 1984. So big changes could be coming. Or maybe big changes are needed. I'm not sure they're going to come this year. So we're certainly working through some legislative hiccups right now. But there is a meeting today. And let me see what else we got over here in questions.
A question that I got on my end, and I'll read it directly. Is there a way to know whether a particular county uses instrument number or book and page to index its documents, or if they switch from one system to the other when the change did occur?
Yes and no. Okay. So let's finish any questions anybody has about electronic recording. And then I will log in to the production search site so you can take a look. So any more questions about e-submission? We can always come back. And the other thing is, Kristen, if you don't mind, put our support email and phone numbers out there, just so everybody's got that right in front of them, so that we're always happy to answer questions. But one more for eSearch. What? Oh. Okay.
You should be able to just X out.
Yeah, I was perplexed there for a second. So we're going to go into search by county, and I think I submitted to Adams, Adair, and Ringgold today. And I'm going to go by submission date and put in today's date and search. And so there's everything that I submitted today. And I can export that if I need to. So that's out there. So you can see what what you have submitted and the status that's they're in. Everything that's out here right now is in ready for recorder. So the recorder hasn't taken action. The next thing would be, oh, we've got some in recorder approved. So they approved those before they sent them back with some other documents for correction. So it goes from ready to recorder approved, ready for download, and then downloaded. And that's the point where they would be indexing documents. Then it goes to stamped and then county index paid. And when it gets to paid, that's when you would be notified that it's out there and ready for you to download it to your local system. Talking about payment for a second, if you or your firm is using a credit card for payment, you will receive one charge on your card for each transaction. So if you submit 25 documents, you're going to get 25 charges on your card. Okay. And if you're submitting 25 documents in one day, it might be a good idea to let your bank know that there's going to be multiple charges coming through from land records or electronic services system. Okay. If you use a bank account for payment, we batch those transactions throughout the day. And at the end of the day, go out and ask your bank for payment. And then what you would see, if you had 25 documents and they were each $100, you would see $2,500 charge on your account. And then in both situations, you would use reports and then the settlement report so that you can reconcile those charges. Okay. $3 for electronic filings, yes, on everything except for a declaration of value and a groundwater. The exception is if you use a credit card for payment, there is an additional fee, which is merchant processing, and it's based on all charges except for the $3 fee. And that is 0.01865%. So we can help you with that. If you're currently using a credit card and you want to switch to a bank account, you can do that. I think I sort of touched on, but didn't really go into depth. If you need multiple accounts for your organization because you've got different locations or you want money pulled from separate accounts, we can help you with that. So in the situation of a law firm, you might have a trust account for conveyance transactions and an operating account because you're filing a release or an affidavit or something like that. So we would be happy to help you establish those seconds account. To Varley Law Office, thank you for your kind words. We really appreciate that. We love this system. I helped a woman on Friday, a new e-submission customer. So for submission, it was a bigger transaction. I think it was $1.4 million. She submitted it and it got kicked back because there was some information missing. And so we did help her get it resubmitted and it did get recorded on Friday afternoon. So this all kind of happened between like 11 and 4 on Friday. But imagine if the time had gone. So Friday, she left the office at noon, dropped those in the mail. The recorder maybe would have gotten them yesterday or today. There's a problem. Now they send it back. So they're going to get it Wednesday or Thursday. In the meantime, with e-submission and for a $3 fee, everything's recorded and we know postage is not getting any less expensive. So Varley Office, thank you for your kind words. I don't believe, back up, the only person or people that would be printing a document is the county. They're not done here. Our office does not review a document unless you as a submitter or someone at the county level calls us and asks us to look at it with them. Okay. We simply don't. There's close to 1,000 documents recorded electronically every day. There's simply not time to do that. So I do believe that some counties print documents out because that's the way they like to do their indexing. Okay. So last call for some e-submission questions, and then we're going to switch over to production and search real quick. Got 5 minutes, but I can stay as long as you need me. Okay, switching to production and search. Mine looks a little bit different, but it's basically the same. So if you're a submitter, you're going to have this, and then you're going to have ILR search up here, okay? And it's going to look just like this. For my role, I have this, and then I go to public search. It looks exactly the same, right? So to determine how a county searches, I would do a county, how a county indexes. I would do a county search, and I would do a date range, and I have one actually in mind. So Story County for yesterday, they have not transferred their documents. Let's do last week. So you can see that they're using a reference number, okay? So that's how you search. So if you ever think I need to look for a document in Story County for March of 2025, you know it's a reference number if somebody handed you this information, because you're trying to determine, okay, is it book 2025, this page number? How do they do it? How many documents do they, how many do they do? If we go back, in Story County to the year 2000, see how the reference number changes? It's only 185, so you don't know what year it is. So I think it's always a good idea to do a small search, a date range search of 4 or 5 days, a week, whatever. You probably can't do a whole month in some of the largest counties because it will be too many results, but that's a good way to do it. And let us know if we can assist, or call the county and ask them. But I jokingly say, if someone says they can't find anything, game on, let me help you look, okay? I think Corey's equally proficient at searching for documents, and if Phil is totally into it, so we'll be happy to help you. We know there are some blips out there or some opportunities in searching by legal descriptions. Again, that's on our list of certain things that we could correct. Okay. 2 minutes left. What questions do you have? Do you want me to submit more documents? Do you want me to do more searches? Any of those things? This was really fun. Glad you guys are all here. It was fun to talk about e-submission. It really is one of my favorite things. You guys, I've worked here forever, over 15 years. I remember when I first started doing these webinars, it kind of scared me a whole bunch, but not anymore. So if you have questions, give me a shout. Our phone number's out there. Oh, it looks like we've got some people from some of the counties participating today, and that's always a happy place. Okay, so thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope that everything goes really well for you today and that everything gets recorded easily. So take care.